Hey there, fellas. What's going on? It's time to kick off a new week here of winning bets. That's right. It's time to talk our sports and talk some sports betting as well. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. What did I get into this weekend? Saturday. I didn't do much on Saturday. Just kind of hung out here. The weather was really nice, but I think we just kind of stayed in. Kids had their normal swim lessons that they do. I, of course, watched that Champions League final on Saturday. I was able to go over to a friend's house, so shout out to the wife for letting me get out and spend a couple hours with the friends and enjoy that game. That was certainly a good time. Yesterday, we took it easy up until the White Sox-Marlins game, and we went down to Guaranteed Rate Field and caught ourselves a Chicago White Sox game. They blew it in the ninth inning, up 5-3, and let the Marlins hang a 3 spot in the ninth inning and win the game 6-5. Really heartbreaking stuff right there, but not really a Sox fan, just something different to do. Just get out and, not really enjoy the sun, though. It's kind of a rainy, cloudy, actually a little low temperature day. It was about 50 degrees. But all in all, it was another fantastic weekend. Loved spending time with family and friends. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. It's time to get settled on here onto the show where we're going to go ahead and recap last week. We'll talk about the highs. We'll talk about the lows from last week. And then, of course, join me on the Payoff pitch live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Only 8 games on today's MLB slate. But I think we've got a few winners that'll go ahead and kick our week off right and put some profits up in your pocket. So let's go ahead and toss that recap up from last week where we went 20-17 and down 0.25 units. So no real damage done, right? Still down 0.25 units. Still good on the year at plus 18.7 units. And arbitrage money, putting free money in your pocket, over $642 in your pocket. Let's talk about those wins and those losses from last week. What about Adam Wainwright going up against the Texas Rangers on Monday? He stayed under his outs prop. That was just super easy right there. We got the Rangers in action today against Tyler Anderson. I've already tweeted that play will be on under 17.5 outs. It's just the best offense in baseball. They're chasing pitchers early in games, and Wainwright is no different. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed, right-handed. They hit them all really well, and it's really hard to go 6 strong innings against this really good Rangers team, and Wainwright was the latest guy that couldn't quite get it done. What about Noah Syndergaard on his strikeout prop of under 4.5 Ks? That one was so good, and he was so goddamn bad that game, he's no longer in Major League. They put him down on the injury list, but it felt like just like paperwork to go ahead and just put him on the injury list. He has been battling a blister on one of his fingers on his throwing hand, so I'm sure that contributed to it. But Roberts was saying leading up to that start where he needed a good one. Syndergaard saying he needed a good one. He threw up an absolute clunker there up against the Reds, just getting rocked, getting 6 runs over three innings pitched. He's in trouble. His career is absolutely in trouble. What about Mitch Keller? What about the old cash cow, the OG cash cow from 2022 coming back into us yesterday of over 5.5 strikeouts? That's the one thing he's been this season is a strikeout king. It's just the books have had his number at 7.5, which 8 strikeouts is a lot. I don't know why I was at 5.5 yesterday. I don't know why. Why are we putting respect on this Mets team? It's like almost putting respect on this Cardinals team. Why are we doing it? Cardinals are bad offense. Mets is not a good offense. Struggling versus right-handed pitching. And you give me that at 5.5? Hell, I got it at minus 105 too. That was an absolute no-brainer. Mitch Keller came through striking out just enough Mets to go ahead and give us a cash. We also had that Marlins team total. That was one of our best bets last week on the Payoff pitch as they were going up against the Royals. Jordan Lyles. That's still so funny. 13 games pitched, and the Royals have lost all goddamn 13 of those games. Like, why is this guy in the major leagues? Like, I have a bad day at my job, and, previously before I did this, and you would get your ass slapped. This guy just keeps saying employed. 13 starts, and the team has lost all 13 games. Unreal right there. Hey, speaking of those Marlins, what about the Marlins versus the White Sox in terms of the NRFI? Didn't play it Sunday. It wasn't as good of a pitching matchup, but I think you saw in it hitting Sunday that the Marlins just NRFI. 83% of the time, the Marlins are getting a NRFI. You've been following now this MLB season while we've been playing NRFIs. One of the bona fide trend is to fade the Marlins in the first inning and take the NRFI in their game. They've got a great pitching staff, and they just struggle in the first inning. So we got 2 cashes in the 2 games. We did that. We did it Friday night and Saturday, so that felt good going perfect on those NRFIs. What about Athletics and Hauser? Boy, the Athletics have been trending up lately, right? They win a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then they sweep the Brewers Although, people are talking about like that's a great sweep. I mean, we faded the Brewers Sunday. We took their F5 team total. We did that also a couple of weeks ago. We took the Brewers F5 team total under. Brewers are a bad offense, but still credit that the Athletics were able to sweep them and get all 3 games into victory. So that was impressive. But they struggled the other night though against against those Brewers. Sorry, we took their F5 team total, predictable, right? They've been trending up, and they cashed their F5 team total on Friday. And in the process, they get Hauser under 4.5K. So 2 great cashes, able to double dip in one game. You love to see that right there. The UEFA Europa Conference League final there midweek. Boy, that one was really good to us right there. Good matchup. What about Italy? I was thinking during the Champions League watching that, Italy had a team in the Champions League final. They had a team in the Europa League final, and they had a team in the Europa Conference League final. Italy, 3 teams in all of the 3 major finals. It kind of, I guess, flew under my radar. I didn't quite realize that as it was happening, and didn't realize it until Saturday. But good stuff coming up out of Italy. But in terms of that game right there, we had over 2.5 goals. Fiorentina versus West Ham got a late dramatic winner. Love to see that late goal there being scored by West Ham. And in the process, Amrabat, he picked up a yellow card. Predictable, right? Defensive midfielder, was going to be involved in a lot of the action. Going to be a KG final. Yeah, go ahead and take him to pick up a card. And he did that. So that was a great final to us right there. And then the second one, or the last one right there, UFC fight Saturday night. Remember, we were on Tyler. Remember, he shared us a bet there on Friday. I didn't know anything about it, but loved his justification that he went ahead and provided with the bet along. Of course, I didn't watch it. It was 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock on Saturday night, but woke up to money in my pocket. That's what you love to see, waking up to money in your pocket. So thank you, Tyler, for that great play there in the UFC. 1 total knockdown, and over 3.5 minutes were in the, what do you call those, matches? They're not a game. Is that a match? I don't know what they even call that. I guess it's a match. But either way, you're great. And hopefully you stayed up, Tyler, and enjoyed all the UFC fights there on Saturday night, and you were able to put even more in your pocket. But I know the people here and myself, we appreciate you giving that winner. I'm thinking maybe we can do that going forward. What if we do 1 pick a week from you guys? Like I said, I have no problem tailing y'all's picks. The only thing I would ask is provide a little 3-4 sentence justification, like Tyler did. We don't want people just submitting picks to submit picks. We want people to, put in the time like I put in the time and like Tyler puts in the time. And if you think you've got a great play, let's go ahead and submit. Let's do 1 play a week from the people here of Winning Bets. Let's see if we can't do that going forward. It doesn't have to be a certain day, so it could be today or anytime until next Sunday. If you've got a play that you feel strongly about, go ahead and tweet it to me on Twitter. Give me the play. Give me 3 or so, sentences of justification. Let's not force it, but let's see if we can do 1 play a week provided to you from you guys. And Tyler kicks it off there with the win, so love to see that right there. All right, what were some of those tough losses that contributed us to having just a narrow loss there on the week? What about Blake Snell and K's? Tried to take his under and got snake bit. He's got snake bit. Probably have to lay off on that. The guy, he gets hit, but goddamn, he strikes out people right there. So gotta lay off on that. What about the Pirates getting tripped up by the Athletics? They couldn't get it done. In the process, they allowed James Caprillion to go ahead and be the winning pitcher. So that one we double dipped, and we got bit by that one. Unfortunately, that was when the Athletics were just trending up. It wasn't like when we saw them on the weekend against the Brewers, and they had fantastic hitting numbers as we talked about on Friday. It's like, yeah, I actually wouldn't mind backing the the Athletics today. That was where they got that first win against Pirates. So it was definitely a little bit of a surprise situation. That certainly happens right there. What about the Dodgers when they took on those Phillies there midweek right there? They didn't hit their F5 team total, and they also allowed Suarez to go over 4.5 Ks when we were on the under. So tried to double dip in that game and definitely got bit on that one. We put together some parlays last week of winning pitcher. No, the parlay, some guys started off well and kind of tailed off there towards the end of the week. So that was unfortunate. And then the Champions League on Friday, or on Saturday, stinker right there. Stinker. Fantastic game. Thoroughly enjoyed watching that one. Super close. Boys, Man City really lucky to go ahead and be the champions. Obviously, Milan was applying a lot of pressure late, and people remember, some of the noticeable lucky saves by Ederson. Sure, they were lucky, but Inter was in that game throughout the whole thing. City was god-awful that whole first half. They could not deal with Inter Milan. They were just awful. It was just really stinking awful. They obviously were better in the second half, but not by much. Although that game could have been a little bit different if Bernardo Silva buried that goal in the first 6 minutes of the game. He just just missed that wide. But yeah, in the process, City obviously didn't get over 1.5. They got the money line, but they didn't get over 1.5. They didn't cover the corners in the first half spread, and they also allowed Inter to get too many corners for their team total. So just a disastrous Champions League final, a game in which you enjoy to watch it, but yeah, as you're watching it, you just know you're not hitting these bets, and it's just a really, really shitty feeling. So hate that right there. But 20-17, and I didn't really lose much money last week, down 0.25 units. So we were on a nice little run there for 3 weeks. Had a little bit of a trip up last week. Looked to have a nice little bounce back and get back, to the winning ways this week. All right, let's hop in that comment section, see what you guys were up to. Maybe what were some of your greatest wins from last week, or maybe what were some of your most painful losses from last week? Let me know in that comment section. Let's jump on in there, see what you got. Tyler, what's up, man? Happy Monday. Appreciate that win again, man. Why not this week? I think we got a great start here on Monday. Great start on Monday. Remember how last week went? We started off Monday 2-2. Tuesday was 4-4. So just like so days. I think today we got some good bets. We've got some good plus money bets there on Anderson staying under 17.5 outs. Good plus money bet on Caprillion staying under 17.5 outs. Love the Phillies today up against Tommy Henry. And that's a bet that I want to expand on the payoff pitch, because that was a bet that I told people not to bet when the same matchup had a couple weeks ago. I justified why not to bet it. Today I'm going to justify why you need to bet that Phillies F5 team total. So love to talk about that one as well. Hope you're doing well, Tyler. What's up, Ross? What's up, dog? I got to get to the gym after this. That's what I got to do, man. Morning. And good morning, Tim. Good morning, my man. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Tim. I don't have any bets to share before the payoff pitch. There is game 4 or game 5, I think, of the NBA Finals. Yeah, I can't bet it, but surely Nuggets first quarter spread has to be, one of the best looks, I think, in the entire game tonight. So I haven't bet it all series long. I'm not going to hop on into it. Tennis, they're now starting their grass court season. As we now turn our attention towards Wimbledon. Obviously, that's usually around 4th of July, so they're going to hit the grass court season. I'll kind of let the first couple of days kind of play out, and then maybe try and jump into some tennis as we built up to Wimbledon there on grass. So, yeah, again, I got no bets. I mean, there's only thing going on these days is baseball. That's the only thing going on. What do you got? Another day, another NRFI parlays. I don't think, obviously we talked about it there in the recap where we've been targeting the Marlins in the first inning. DeGent's taking that one step farther, and every time I tweet out, hey, won another NRFI there with the Marlins, he'll wait 10 minutes to reply. He's like, I got the NRFI and the NRSI, and I put them in a parlay. So DeGent took it one step farther. They've been doing quite well. So keep that rolling today. Obviously, they're in action against the Mariners. Obviously, on a small slate, it's easy to pay out the Marlins as your NRFI of the day, but you got Luzardo on the mound. How many of these would we taken with Luzardo? He's yet to give up a run in the first inning. 13 starts, no runs, 17 Ks. I think his whip was like .38 in the first inning, and the opponent's batting average is like .82 or some shit. Lights out number. Yeah, you got to hop on that one again, DeGent. Bryce Miller will scare you a little bit, and I'll talk about that obviously on the payoff pitch. But the times he's given up runs in the first inning, he's given up runs to the Braves. They have the best YRFI record in baseball at 44%. Nobody scores more times in the first inning than the Braves. So, okay, Bryce Miller, I can see why you would allow the Braves to get you. And then he also gave up runs in the first inning to the Rangers. That's the best offense in the league is the Texas Rangers. So, other than that, he's been great in the first inning. So, if you want to justify and maybe give Bryce Miller, a pass on those two outings, then I think it's a great NRFI again today. It's my NRFI of the day for sure, but I haven't quite bet it. I'm a little undecided, but I haven't quite gotten there. What's up, John? I want to thank the A's for putting that plus money in your pocket. What's up, John? What's up, man? Yeah, the A's. Sure, they were a dog every 3 days against the Brewers. I can't imagine they were ever favored against the Brewers. I think they're going to come back down to earth today, John, though, against those Rays. Remember, the Rays already swept them once this season when they played earlier in Tampa. Good job beating the Pirates. Good job sweeping the Brewers. Think you come back down to earth. But good job putting that plus money up in your pocket. That's well done. Well done. That, John, right there really shows of why you handicap baseball small. Because if you look at it on a whole, you're like, I ain't taking the Athletics. Small chunks is what you have to handicap baseball. And again, we took that Athletics F5 team total. I know that shocked people. People, hit me up on Twitter. What are we doing? I'm betting the numbers. They're hitting 280 versus right-handers, and they're getting Adrian Hauser on Friday night. Yeah, and I'm going to double dip and take under 4.5 Ks because their strikeout rate was like, I don't know, 18 or 19%. So that's why you handicap baseball. Every team's going to ebb and flow, and you want to, depending on if you're fading or tailing, you obviously ride it accordingly. So good work, John. Good work. All right, let's go find ourselves a Hockey Squirrel. We got about 3 minutes. Time to get settled in on the little Monday episode here of the Payoff Pitch. So give me half a second. I'll go find ourselves a squirrel. We'll come right on back. Set ourselves. Hey there, everybody. Welcome on into the Monday episode here of the Payoff Pitch, live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with myself and the Hockey Squirrel, previewing today's MLB slate. 8 games on today's MLB slate, but I think we've found you guys some winners. Powered by Bet Openly, where you win more and lose less. Like it's Squirrel's opening thoughts and quick hits. What's going on, Squirrel?
Oh man, I had quite the weekend. Not in terms of really going out and doing things and like being crazy that way, but I had a good weekend in terms of productivity. I got a lot done. Did a lot with Python programming this weekend for automation of a lot of things. new things on the website. If you go and take a look at hockeysquirrel.com, I have a newsletter sign up. There's a form right on the front page there. Made a little video for it. It's not fantastic video editing by any means, but it got the job done there. I know you saw that and checked it out and signed up for the newsletter. Got my first overnight line sent out last night on that newsletter, so I'm sure you saw that one there. And if you missed that one, go ahead and sign up for future ones. Overnight lines will come out through there. When the ebook is finished, I'm going to send it through the email newsletter there. Any discounts, promos, coupons that I might have for Hockey Squirrel in the future, and any podcasts, articles I write, stuff like that. So it's just a good way to keep in the loop. Other than that, I did some strikeout props automation. So now I just have to come up with my projections. I click one button and it just shows me all the comparisons of the EV and whatnot. So I have a Python script for that. Got a lot of good productivity done, as I said. Kind of went even on the weekend, I think. I think, let's see, Saturday I think I lost a unit, and yesterday I went 6-6-1. So plus 0.0 units. So yeah, didn't really win much, didn't really lose much over the weekend. So there's all that for myself. But yeah, lighter day today, huh? Just across the board in sports, light day.
Very good. Sounds like you had a nice busy weekend. So love to see that. I've got a little story that you and the viewing audience might like. Took the family yesterday down to Guaranteed Rate Field. We were down at the Marlins and the White Sox game. Had a great time. The kids loved it. The hot dogs and the ice creams. That's all they care about.
They blew it in the ninth inning, right?
No, well, so here's where the story gets kind of funny and it's touch entertaining. So they're up 5-3 into the ninth inning. They don't have Liam Hendricks up. I guess maybe he's pitched too much recently, so he was down. So they had Kendall Graveman in to try and close the game there for the White Sox. So he's coming in, and as he's running into the field, very great video screen out there in center field there for the fans. They've got more information on that screen than you can digest. But there was one part of it in the middle as he's running down there to take his mound. He had yet to give up a run in his last 16 appearances. So I pulled my phone out. I pull up FanDuel. Wife looks over. She goes, "What are you doing? Are you making a bet?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to make a bet that the Marlins score here in this ninth inning." She goes, "Why do we want that?" I said, "I didn't want them to win the game, but look at that out in center field. It says he hasn't given up a run in 16 appearances. We've all watched enough sports. We know how this shit's going. I don't care. They may not get 3 and win the game, but he going to give up a goddamn run. This is the announcer jinx. They've done jinx this poor man, Graveman." Sure enough, he gives up more than 1. He wets the bed. He gives up 3, and they lose the game.
It was awful.
We drive home. She goes, "I bet you're happy." I'm like, I mean, I'm not a White Sox fan, so I don't really care, but it felt good to win the bet.
Yeah.
That was cool, so... There you go. Announcer jinx strikes Kendall Graveman in the White Sox in the ninth inning. Hate to see that right there. All right, let's jump on into it. Second inning, around the bases. What do you want to break down the show with? What do you want to kick it off with, Squirrel?
Well, I went from not winning an over in that White Sox game to, okay, I've hit the over, now I need a hold, and I lost the White Sox. So I had the White Sox and the over in that same game, and I had a very small opportunity to win both. And that was terrible. So yeah, going into today, man, I think we maybe briefly talked prior to the show yesterday about one game that I was looking at, and there's 2 overs that I think are pretty much just a gimme type of situation where, even if they don't hit, I'm not saying like this was a lock. I'm just saying it makes total sense. Like, why would you not be on the over? The first game that I'll roll with is the game at Fenway Park with the Rockies and Red Sox. You've seen this trend of how many overs? 22-9 to the over. The model obviously is very high on it once again. I know it was James Paxton and who was the other guy here?
Connor Seabold.
Connor Seabold, there you are. So in terms of model projection, I think I have around 13 expected, which is pretty nuts for having a line of 9.5. I don't know if they can make the lines high enough at Fenway this year. Anyway, that's just been the trend.
All right, I'm curious of that game because there's 2 notable fades within that same game. One is fade the traveling team on Sunday Night Baseball. That would be the Red Sox in this scenario. And the other fade is fade Colorado, their first game coming out of Colorado and back into some normal altitude city. So I think that may make it tough to predict a winner, but I think you could be bang on there with the runs. You said 22-9 this year at Fenway. Obviously, the Red Sox are a good offense. You do get the Rockies stay up against left-handers, so historically that's been a nice angle over the past couple of seasons. So, all right, let's get some runs scored today in Fenway. I'm going to first turn our attention to Arizona, head out west, and talk about these Phillies taking on the Diamondbacks. And I remember this matchup very well from a couple weeks ago because I remember using this matchup as a guide to why you should handicap baseball in a short. Because remember, people were on the Phillies against Tommy Henry because the Phillies hit left-handers, and it didn't work out that day for the Phillies. They didn't cover the F5 money line or their F5 team total, which was a popular play that I was seeing that day. And I was trying to, on this show, before that game, get you guys off of Phillies because 10 days prior to that previous startup against Tommy Henry, they were hitting 181 versus left-handers. They were only slugging 345 with a weighted runs created of 49. Fast forward all the way today, and what have they done the prior 10 days against left-handers? Now they hit 273 against left-handers. They're slugging 455, and their weighted runs created is 113. This is the offense that you guys expected that hit left-handers, that they do have left-handers, but it's 162 games. Guys, this shit ebbs and flows like crazy over 162 games. So you don't want to obviously tail those guys when they're hitting below the Mendoza line, but I want a piece of these Phillies today. And you now add in a lot of hitting familiarity, having just seen Tommy Henry under a month ago. Yeah, I'm on the Phillies F5 team total today of over 2.5 runs, and they only need to be 1 run better. Remember, they got 2 runs off Tommy Henry in the first 5 innings in that outing. So are these stats way better to give me 1 more run? Yeah, I like it a lot. Phillies F5 team total for me. What's another game for you, Squirrel?
Here's one that at this point I would pretty much classify it. I think it could be a steal or anything. We have fairly limited amount of games today, so I'll go ahead and throw it in here. But it's the Reds and the Royals, man. You have the name of Luke Weaver on the mound, and we know that he hasn't done very well in his early innings of his outings. Going against Greinke, and I don't know if that name maybe is pulling the total down a bit, but it certainly didn't pull the projections down when I made them. I expect around 10 runs in this game, and now the game has dropped to 8.5. You can actually go 8.5 with Luke Weaver on the mound. Seems pretty good to me. I don't think that the bullpens are overall, elite by any means. I only checked a couple of stats like team WHIP ratings and things like that, and they were in the top 6 worst roughly, both teams. So I don't expect absolutely elite pitching. Maybe Greinke does a decent job, but I wouldn't expect it from Luke Weaver or really the relieving bullpens of either team.
You know what you can expect from Zach Greinke, and you don't even need to say it. It's such a phenomenal play. You know what to expect from Zach Greinke. You know what you're going to get from him. Under 1.5 walks, right, Squirrel? Under
yeah,
1. You've bet it. You didn't wait for me to give that bet out. You've already bet it, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. You laid the juice minus 258. You laid it. It is minus 258. I've got it in a parlay.
We'll just throw it in a parlay, of course.
Of course. I'm in a parlay, of course. All right. This is one I just messaged you about an hour ago. Marlins Mariners over 7.5 runs. Marlins Mariners over 7.5 runs. Get the Mariners really good right now versus left-handed pitching. They're hitting 345, slugging 420, weighted runs created at 143. And the Marlins are still good right now versus right-handers. Solid in action live. Yesterday, hell, they hit 272, slugged 467, weighted runs created of 119. Mariners bullpen, they're in the bottom 10. Marlins is about league average, so they're there, but the Mariners is atrocious in the bottom 10. So then you get Luzardo off Bryce Miller. We kind of talked about Luzardo a lot. May even talk about him a little bit later on in this show, but he's been good. But you go look at his game log. When he runs up against the Giants as a team that hits left-handers well, he got absolutely crushed. Well, the Mariners, again, they're hitting 345 right now versus left-handers, expecting them to be able to get a few runs off of Luzardo. Bryce Miller, he's coming off 2 really tough starts against the Yankees and the Rangers, giving up 15 total earned runs in those 2 starts. Luzardo, good April, or rough April, good May. June was rough versus the Padres, good versus the Royals. Royals suck. I think there's going to be runs in this game. I like the offenses. Bullpen struggling. I think if we can get enough off the starters to get us to over 7.5 runs. So I'll take the over in Mariners. Marlins, shut up and pitch time. What do you got on the bump with this new thing you got going on?
I have but one to give out, and it is just a line that I believe is way too high. It's just set too high. There's a 7.5 out there on James Paxton, and I was able to grab the under at pretty low juice of -106, I believe. Just too many damn strikeouts. You put a line of 7.5 or 8.5 on most pitchers, on really any pitcher, and it's pretty tough to achieve. I took Kevin Gossman against the Twins there under 8.5, I think was the line. It's ridiculous. I mean, what do we like? We have to strike out the whole side, like, 3-4 innings in a row, basically, to achieve some of these lines. If, you're talking under 9, under 8, under 7, too much for James Paxton. Whether it be my projections, so my own custom ones, have about 5.5 strikeouts. If you look at Number Fire, which is a projection service that's owned by FanDuel, they have about 5.5. If you look at, there's a lot of different DFS projections out there, and it's all about 5.5. So why this line's 7.5? Yeah, you could go back in the game log and look and like, oh, but he's gotten 8 before, he's gotten 9 before. That's great, but he's also gotten 5 before, and that's right where I expect him to kind of finish here. Just in terms of a projection-wise, if you're not just blindly looking at a game log and saying, well, he could do it. Of course he could. Yeah, he could go over 7.5. No problem. But it's not the expectation.
Interesting. It's quite interesting that you have a lot of different publications spitting out a lower projection. I've got him as over 7.5 in this same inning of shut up and pitch. Look, the Rockies are striking out 32.7%. They're not hitting left-handers right now. They're only hitting 208. And while James Paxton has gone over this in 3 of his 5 starts, just look at what he did most recently against the Guardians, who only strike out 21.5%. Usually a team like the Nationals, the Guardians, you want to fade that opposing pitcher. He got 9 against the Guardians. Rockies striking out 32.7%. I didn't bet it. It was a lean here in this inning, but I kind of like Paxton over 7.5 Ks. I like that one. The ones that I am willing to bet, though, were Caprillion under 17.5 outs. Already gone up against the Rays this season on April 9th and stayed under 17.5 outs. Gone under in 6 of his 8 starts so far this season. He's allowing teams to hit 286 opponents' batting average off him. He's got a 1.76 whip. The Rays are the 5th best team at avoiding grounding into a double play. He's going to have it rough against the Rays as he did back in April. So he'll stay under again for the second time this season. And look for Tyler Anderson to also stay under 17.5 outs for the second time this season up against the Rangers, as he did on May 5th when he only went 5 innings pitched. Otherwise, stayed under in 7 of his 11 starts. Another guy, really poor numbers in terms of, just being able to pitch deep in games. I mean, a 284 opponent's batting average, a K per 9, a 5.9, and a 1.6 whip. And the Rangers are the second best team at avoiding grounding into a double play. He's going to have it rough again. So give me Anderson and Caprillion, both under 17.5 outs at plus money. 4th inning, long shots, 8 games on today. Slate, did you find a dog worth betting?
I haven't got money down on an underdog yet, but I will tell you a few places where the model kind of has a discrepancy between. First one, I guess, might be the Angels. I have them plus 117 as a projection. You can grab them right now, almost 140 in some places. I guess DraftKings, if you're at a regulated book, or BetMGM would be plus 135. Some other offshores, maybe just a cent or two better than that. But that's just, a discrepancy in terms of price. Otherwise, you had talked a lot about the Phillies, and while they're not an official underdog, they are low juice, between minus 105 to minus 110 somewhere. I do have them projected at minus 122. So very small, discrepancy there as well. I mean, we're not talking massive edges, probably 10 cents per dog here. But yeah, I guess, either of those two. I heard what you said about the Phillies, and we could back that too, even though it's not technically a plus money.
Plus money dog. I'm going to go back to the game where you like a lot of runs being scored in that Reds-Royals game. I'm going to take a stab at the Reds. Plus 102, very, very small dog. You're getting by far the better offense. The Reds slash 264, 340, 4-3 with their weighted runs created at 103. The Royals are 216, 287, and 328 with a weighted run scored of 69. You're getting the better bullpen. In the last 10 days, the Royals bullpen is bottom 5. And the Reds bullpen is the top 10 bullpen right now in the last 10 days. Starter, it's Greinke versus Weaver. I mean, I think Greinke may be better just because of the way they baby him and just don't let him go anywhere deep into games. Like some teams, when you've got that under 17.5 outs like we do, it turns into a sweat because they send him out for the 16th inning or the 6th inning. You're just hoping, obviously, he gives up a couple base runners and then they go ahead and pull him. Greinke, they don't even put his ass out there for the 6th inning. So maybe it's a slight lean that he's better just because they know when to pull him. They know when his stuff starts to run out. But otherwise, both these guys should get hit. I would definitely expect Greinke to get hit, though, because this Reds offense hitting 264 versus right-handers. I think they'll do some damage against him. So I think the Reds today at plus 102 is going to be the best dog today on the board. All right, 5th inning, keep swinging. Let's give these guys some hitting props. So we need some guys to keep streaking on Beat the Streak, because I am streaking on Beat the Streak. I survived the weekend. What are you up to here, Squirrel? I need some guys.
I haven't looked at the pitchers versus batters, but one that stands out at the top of the projections anyway is Salvador Perez against Luke Weaver. Then there's a line there of minus 105 for over 1.5 total bases right now. That is at Bookmaker, so I don't know if there's one out for regulated books.
I'm gonna look it up right now, but I'm assuming Luke Weaver has never seen them because he's new this season.
3 at bats for Salvador Perez. He's got one hit on 3 at bats, and that one hit was a home run.
It was a home run, so you got in the cash.
And it does make sense. Perez is a power hitter, right? And at least I think what was it? 1 or 2 seasons ago, there was a time where the dude just couldn't stop hitting home runs. It seemed like. I think it was him.
Was it that last season? He was almost the league leader. Or maybe that was 2 seasons ago.
Pretty nuts. But you can expect some power out of him, and for almost even odds, over 1.5 total bases doesn't seem too bad. Even if he crushed one back to the warning track or, hit one to the wall and got a double, you'd win on that. So I don't feel too terribly bad about that one against a guy that, we're already against in terms of getting the over. So if you're wanting to root for somebody to get hits there, I don't think that's a terrible choice.
Wow, this Luke Weaver's been in the league a lot longer than I thought. He was actually a member of the Royals last season.
Okay,
yeah, he's actually on the Royals team last.
Well,
season.
that's good then in terms of who they're playing today.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I didn't know that. Anyways, now that game's gonna have runs, so that's a good one right there. All right, I'm going to give you guys Paul DeJong there of the St. Louis Cardinals. He's 5 for 9 up against Logan Webb. No strikeouts and a home run, so I like that. What about Corey Seager? He's 8 for 21 up against Tyler Anderson, 3 strikeouts. And Jared Walsh, he's not 6 for 11 up against Dane Dunning, a double and a 2 home runs. So which 2 did I play on Beat the Streak? Which 2 did I play? For a chance to win $5.6 million. I played Walsh. I played Walsh and Singer. So if you're kidding. Oops, sorry about that. I'm on Washington.
Jeez, hello?
6th inning.
What are you doing over there? Throwing shit.
Inning, it's a steal. What do you got? You teased a couple. I need one. I need a steal.
Oh, man, like I said, I mean, seriously, I can't. This is what I don't like about not having a large slate. You know what I mean? Just, oh boy. Okay, the steal I have, I took the Seattle Mariners on the money line at minus 109, which was my steal. It's not super high now. I mean, it's probably approaching minus 120. Yeah, most books I think minus 120. So I'll say that Bryce Miller on the mound, which I think he actually isn't too bad at going over on strikeouts. Oops. Sorry about that. There we go. I don't think Bryce Miller's too terribly bad, though, in terms of getting strikeouts, or at least I think I've taken some over strikeouts on him before, and he's done well for me.
All right. Mariners today. Let's stay with that game. Let's talk about a NRFI. I like to give out my NRFI of the day here in the 6th inning. NRFI, Marlins, Mariners. No surprise that we're going to gravitate towards the Marlins. Everybody knows they NRFI 83% of the time. They're god-awful. And Luzardo's on the mound. 13 starts. Still hasn't given up a run in the first inning. .38 whip, .095 opponent's batting average, 17 Ks in the first inning. In 13 starts, all those numbers I spat out, like .09 batting average, all that shit equals, he's only given up 4 hits in the first inning and 1 walk in the first inning in 13 starts. The guy's been lights out. Bryce Miller, 3 runs he's given up in his 7 starts, 8 strikeouts. So that at least you do get the strikeouts to come along with it. But Look at who he gave up runs against. Braves, number one team in the league, scoring the first inning, and the Rangers. I think probably the best offense in baseball. So he's had it rough. Otherwise, he's been good in the first inning. So I think that's your NRFI of the day. It's Marlins, Mariners, -120 NRFI of the day. Now we got to go switch to that to go giving these guys our best bet of the day. That's what we do in coming to a stretch. What is it for you?
It's got to be just the Reds and Royals over, especially now that it's 8.5. I went in yesterday at over 9 at -105. Now you can get over 8.5. So it's not good that the market has fallen to 8.5. In some cases, I think you can get -110 for over 8.5, but it makes me like it more. And I think I might double dip on the game, take a little bit more at 8.5.
Yeah, is it falling, I guess, just because of the combination of a good Reds bullpen and maybe a struggling Royals offense? Otherwise, I mean, from a starter perspective, hell, you think each guy's going to give up 3-ish runs, and,
Yeah,
hell, you're looking
I
pretty good.
can't make heads or tails of why that's the case. It just,
Yeah.
I think it's a gift to myself. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna probably go in for some seconds on 8.5. I would be pissed if I got 9 runs. I mean, if it was a 5-4 game and it ended like that, and I got a push on what I thought was going to be an over, where I expected at least 9,
Yeah.
10, 11 runs. But yeah, I mean, the projection's 10.5. The bullpens don't say under by any means. The starters, maybe Greinke, I guess, but on Weaver's side, I don't expect it. I would not.
I love when I have on my card where I give out, like, it happened more in the NBA, like over 218. The public does you a favor, and then you go back in for like over 216. Trust your work, man. That's why we bust our ass every single day. If you like the number, go back in for a second bite of the apple. I like it, man. For my best bet of the day, I'm going to do Greinke under 1.5 walks. I'm literally not even going to talk about why I like that. And I'm going to parlay him with Caprillion of the Athletics to not be the winning pitcher at -123. So, like everything about the Rays, got to talk about him. Caprillion, obviously, when we faded him from an ounce perspective, got to give the Athletics credit. Been on a nice 5-game win streak. I think it comes back down there today against the Rays. So Caprillion to not be the winning pitcher. Greinke under 1.5 walks, -123. Now it's trying to give you a parlay. Guess I'm going to give you guys 2 parlays today. I'm going to give you Giants money line, Red Sox money line, +147. What's a parlay for you today, Squirrel?
Oh, boy. I always forget to do these. I just don't think of it till we get here. That's pretty ridiculous for the Red Sox. I don't know why they're that much. Geez. Why didn't we talk about the Rockies as an underdog? We should talk about that when we get to rapid fire. That's way too much, I think. Dude, I don't know. Let's just go with Reds and Royals over and the Red Sox and Rockies over. Well, there's two overs. That's good to root for. Parlay those together. Should give you they're -110 each, and we'll say it's +264. Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Let's throw up these bets up here on the screen. Then let's talk about every single game. Were you going to expand on maybe why you like the Rockies at a good +200 price? I think there's another good over-under that we haven't talked about. Rays Athletics. Haven't heard you mention that one. Curious to see where you've got that one at. I like it over in that one. So, anyways.
I'm not sure I did. I didn't even price it because one of those teams didn't have a pitcher as far as last night when I was going to bed. I don't think they do now today. But
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, let's jump on into it. Let me pull up the sports book here, jump on into it. You guys can see right there, kicking off the day, 4-0. Jump on board. We get the Rockies and Red Sox, over-under of 10. Rockies +205, Red Sox -245. I'm going to stick with the Red Sox. Massive bullpen advantage, hitting advantage. Starter, I don't know. I mean, with the Rockies only hitting 208 versus left-handers and striking out a ton, I think they also have the starting advantage. So I'll take the Red Sox, and I'll take under 10. I'm going to fade the narrative that the Rockies suck in their first game out of Coors and don't hit shit.
Is it at 10 now?
By a flat 10 here. Yep, I got even money on the over and -120 on the under. I'm going to do the under and Red Sox money line.
Okay. Yeah, depending on your book. There are some books like FanDuel Caesars have 9.5 -115 still. Yeah, I'm going with the over though. I still have, yeah, and I have the James Paxton under 7.5 strikeouts line, so this all makes sense for myself. The Rockies, if you want to take a stab at it, best I see, geez, I can almost get plus 225. That's that bookmaker. Um, you can get plus 210 Caesars. I have it. It should be plus 166 according to myself.
Wow, you got
My
about that.
my own model, yeah. So that's quite a large differential between my own projections and the sports book.
I'm going to mention this game, but I know you've got no prediction on it. I'm showing not even an over or an under. I'm just showing Braves at minus 215 on the money line and the Tigers at plus 180. Tigers, it says TBD. So not going to talk about that game, but did just want to mention it so people don't think we're skipping shit. You've got nothing for that, right? I mean, there's no starter. Right?
No.
Yeah. And I'm not going to have a comment on a game that doesn't have a starter. So we move along to Giants and Cardinals with an over-under of 8. Minus 130 for the Giants. Cardinals plus 110. Giants are smoking left-handed pitching. The only reason I didn't bet it is because the sample size is small. We're only talking 36 plate appearances in the last 10 days, but they're hitting 382 and they're slugging 441. Love those numbers. I would love to back them, but just not a big enough sample size. But I'm going to like the Giants. Better starter, better bullpen, better hitting. Giants money line minus 130.
Yeah. This was a weird one because somebody sent me last night a line and they said, hey, you can go grab the Giants at minus 108. Everywhere else is minus 120 something, minus 122 or whatever. And I have it modeled 100 as a coin flip somehow. I don't know why that is. I didn't grab the minus 108 and I should have. I just stuck with my projections more than the market price. And sometimes the market knows more. And I think that was a mistake that I didn't do that. I would be closing very, very well right now. But yeah, mistake on my end.
If you want to trust the Giants on that small sample size, this Liberatore guy, I mean, ERA of 6, whip of 1.6. He ain't missing any bats. His K per 9 is 6.6. Opponent's batting average 271. So if you're like, okay, small sample size, but I like the numbers, I mean, it's a great matchup for them to just have a lot of success today against Liberatore. And the Cardinals, we've said it enough before, and they continue to struggle. They're struggling right now versus right-handers, left-handers. It's all of it. So I think they're in for a tough day up against the Giants. So, yeah, I'll take that Giants on that money line. Let's look at over here the Angels and Rangers, over-under of 10. Angels plus 135, Rangers minus 155. Dane Dunning makes me think that the over can hit. I mentioned a lot of great averages off of him. So I like the Rangers, but I'm going to stick to over 10. Over 10.
I have it at 10.25. I'm wondering now where it came out if it opened. It did open 9.5 juice to the over mostly. You can still get over 9.5. Dude, I can find 9.5 at minus 110, which is actually, I should probably take that now that I'm looking at this. I expect probably by game time that gets to 10.
Yeah, I would agree.
Over's not a bad play. And, if we're looking at underdogs again just for pure value plays, the Angels may be worth a look. But again, it's got to be scary going against Rangers and at home at that.
They rake against left-handers, boy. Let me tell you. I mean, they're gonna get 6+, 7 runs easy. They're gonna crush that guy. Reds and Royals over under of 8.5. Reds at plus 102. Royals minus 120. I'm just taking the over. Actually, no, I'm taking Reds money line. No. I'm taking Reds money line. That's the best bet. Reds money line. Reds money line.
Hold your tickets, please.
Yeah, Reds money line. I can't ignore. I get the better offense, better bullpen by far. I'm taking Reds money line.
Yeah, for some reason, this is like the third game in a row that the Royals have appeared in where when I run the projections, the model favors the Royals. And I'm not sure what that is. I don't know why that is. I even messaged you, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, and I said, what do you think of this? Because my model loves the Royals today. They happen to win the game. I don't put too much stock in, one game or even, 2-3 games. But I have a models favored minus 120. All right, what did I just say? The models favored? The Royals favored minus 120. The model favors the Royal.
I mean, they've got, in this recent stretch of 10 days, they've got the worst, from a bullpen perspective, bullpen numbers. They've got the worst BABIP, the worst ERA, the 5th worst whip, and the 3rd worst opponent's batting average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't make sense.
The
However,
Reds.
my model is
maybe
built
I gotta add the Reds.
completely off of projections, right? So, I mean, it takes historical data, but it projects what their, an expectation. So it's not like how everyone would just go to ESPN or like, you might go to MLB.com and just look at game logs or statistics and be like, this is what they have done. But I'm trying to make a prediction as to what's going to happen. And those are two very vastly different things. You can try to handicap, and I have years ago tried to handicap just basically comparing the teams of like what they have done. And I would get very frustrated that way because it wouldn't hold true. Trends change through time. And as we talk about, it's 162 games, and the best teams can look like the worst teams for a month.
Yeah, I'm debating on whether or not to add this Reds money line to the card. This Weaver kid, Jesus Christ, he's got some god awful numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, just the back of the baseball. He's had one good outing this season against the Cardinals. Now, if he could replicate it, the Royals can't hit worth shit. So if there's an opponent, you're like, okay, yeah, I bet the Royals can't hit him. Wow, I'll have to contemplate that one throughout the day. Maybe if it gets a little more meat on the bone. But at even money, yeah, I'd probably pass on it. Rays and Athletics with an over-under of 8.5. Rays minus 260, Athletics plus 220. 5-game win streak for those Oakland Athletics. Coming off a sweep of the Brewers. Take it on the Rays at home. I want the over 8.5. I bet the Athletics still can contribute from a run standpoint, and expect the Rays to hit Caprillion really hard. I like the Rays run line, a run line of minus 165, folks. A run line of minus 165. That is laughable. Just take the over 8.5. Hell, the Rays could hit this on their own.
I have no real input because this is one that I didn't have a starting pitcher for.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that. Marlins and Mariners, over-under of 7.5. Marlins plus money. Mariners minus 120. I like the under, and I like the Marlins on the money line.
Yeah, the under is one place I was looking yesterday. There was one single book. Once again, another thing that I didn't take that I should have, and I regret it. There was an under 8 out there, actually. And now I think it's 7.5, right?
7.5, yep. Which juice to the over, so it could come back to 8.
Sure. Probably not, though. I will remind you that T-Mobile Park and Petco Park are the two ballparks that consistently are the lowest projections from the model, but also have the lowest run totals as a trend. I believe T-Mobile Park goes under quite a bit, and Petco as well. Those are just strong for driving games under. And then let's see, who was it? That Bryce Miller for the strikeouts. You liked the NRFI on this one, right? And Luzardo had good numbers. Was that what you said?
Yeah, and I'm realizing I just misspoke here in rapid fire. I said under 7.5, and I like the over, like I talked about in around the bases. I like the
That's
over.
That's what I thought. But yeah, so I do like the under though.
Okay. And then Phillies, Diamondbacks, over-under of 10, minus 110 up against minus 110. Bullpen day for the Phillies. Matt Strahm will be pitching. He'll probably just go 2 innings, I would say, max. And then it's a bullpen day for the Phillies. So I'll lay off. No, that probably helps the Phillies. I'll say Phillies money line, minus 110. Yeah, Phillies money line, minus 110.
This is another game where I have 10.25 and the line's at 10. So we're keeping right on pace with the where the books are setting these lines. So the only thing valuable to myself here would be a Phillies money line at a projection of minus 122, and I can get minus 106 or close to minus 105 to 110 somewhere, depending on the book.
Right. All right. Cool. We got some great comments here in this comment section from a lot of great guys. Daryl, he says he's on the 4 R's today: Royals, Rays, Red Sox, and Rangers. Do you think he had a hard time picking which R to pick in the Royals Reds, though? Was that like a tough one for him? Tough one?
It would have to be. It's a pretty close. It's a pretty close game. Coin flip.
That one could wreck your parlay there, Daryl. I'm only poking fun in a light way, but also to try and help you out. That one could be your parlay buster right there, my man. That one could do it. But not say the Royals could win. I mean, shit, Royals could win the game. Zach Greinke could do what he does and be efficient for 4 or 5 innings, and then exit to a bullpen that has been getting fucking crushed. So, wow, that makes me really, really. That would make me really nervous. I mean, worst. What did I just say? Worst BABIP, worst ERA, 3rd worst opponent's batting average, and 5th worst WHIP. I can't get behind the Royals. Can't do it. Not when they're only coming along with a batting average of 218 versus right-handers. Yeah, I can't do it. So cancel Reds and take River Plate in Argentine soccer. There you go. Sign me up for that. All right, fellas. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. What a fantastic way to kick off the week here on the Payoff page. Thank you guys for the comments and the energy. Good luck with your bets tonight. Let's start off the week with putting money in our pocket. Come back here tomorrow and preview Tuesday's slate. Good luck to you, Squirrel. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
Yeah, you too, man. See you later.